Welcome back to the fourth quarter podcast. We have a new segment today. This is called Fourth and 49, where we talk all about 49ers. And I'm joined by Jason Aponte today. And we're talking about the NFC Championship tomorrow between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. Say what's up, Jason.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. And yeah, it's an exciting time for 49ers fans. I mean, tomorrow's the day, and hopefully the 49ers will be playing in another game in SoFi.
I hope so.
If they do what I think they're going to do.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show, of course. Make sure to follow all of Jason's links down below. They'll be in the description. So we're going to get into this right now with our first topic today. We're going to be talking about the man, Kyle Shanahan, and how he has improved a ton this season. People were calling for his head when we were 3-5. Everybody was like, fire this guy, get him out of the building. And now this man has Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers in the NFC Championship. Why do you think we struggled in the beginning so much? And how do you think Kyle reacted to it and responded to it?
Well, I mean, that's a complex answer, right? Because there's no one thing that you could point to for why this team got off to a start. But I guess the simple answer would be this team was shooting themselves in the foot crazy in many games, whether that be penalties, whether that be just fumbles, whether that just be missing assignments and things like that. You know, they lost a bunch of heartbreakers. You know, the Colts game comes to mind. You know, obviously the home opener, which, 30 seconds away from beating the Packers there as well, too. So I really believe that the early season struggles have more to do with just not being as disciplined. A lot of things, kind of just bouncing the other way. And the offense was still trying to get itself in order at that point. And then the turnaround, I mean, when you play football like that, and it's hard to win. Any team, any quarterback, nobody's going to be able to win when you're turning the ball over or you're not executing. But I think it's more about the culture that Kyle Shanahan has built there. None of those guys ever wavered. None of them ever felt like the season was over. They were all committed, right? They all kept saying the same thing. We're better than our record, which at the time I wasn't a fan of that mantra, I guess, or phrase, because for me, you are what your record is. But they were right. They were better than that record showed. And a lot of the things, when you look at it, were self-inflicted. So when you clean all of that up and you got a bunch of guys who believe in coach like they do, and then things start to click, right after that Arizona game, I think they only lost 2 games after that. And it just shows that entire room, that entire building was committed to what they were saying earlier in the season, which a lot of people scoffed at about, we're going to make a run into January. And a lot of people were saying, well, I don't know about that. And here we are. So it goes to show that we don't know as much as Kyle Shanahan. And I think that the biggest thing is that this team is committed to him, and that is a close-knit group, man. And you saw it, you're seeing it now in all of these playoff games come to fruition.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think Kyle has built like a really good culture here, and you can just tell these players care for each other. Like, as much as Twitter hates Jimmy Garoppolo, this team will die on a hill for Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle Juszczyk tweeted out after the Mina Kimes thing. Debo tweeted out about it. Like, there's a culture here where everybody is like their brothers. It's like a very big family, You know what I mean? And I definitely feel like Kyle's culture had an impact on the turnaround. And also that the meeting Jimmy Ward had and Fred Warner had with the defense, that meeting after that, we had the Rams game, and then, here we are now. Kyle, to me, I don't know what was going on earlier in the year with not playing Ayuk and like not getting his star players involved. I honestly had no clue. I don't know what was going on. I can't really say. I'm just happy that he figured it out. And he figured it out when it mattered most. Because if we lost that Rams game, we are probably not in the playoffs. We're probably not in this position right now. So I'm just happy that he finally, was like, let's get Ayuk the ball. Let's get Debo the ball. Let's, Mitchell, let's play to our strength. Just handing the football off in short passes and let the Yak Bros do what they can. So I'm just really happy that Kyle had that sort of moment where he's like, we need to get this team around, and I'm going to use what I'm used to using. Same with the defense too. The defense didn't really have pass rush when we were 3-5. I was at that Packers game, and Aaron Rodgers had all day long in that pocket, and everybody was like, the Niners pass rush is going to get there. They're down to the 3rd string left tackle, 2nd string left guard. Like, the Niners passer should get there. And I was like, oh yeah, we're going to destroy Aaron Rodgers. We had no pass rush earlier on in the season. And once again, the defense also switched it up. and they got insane passers. Arden Key came out, Samson Ebukon, everybody was like, that's a terrible signing, and now everybody's like, Samson Ebukon, he's a really good passer on this team. Arden Key, everybody's saying is the best free agent signing. And Armstead the last 7 weeks has been a monster. So I think this team in general just had a huge turnaround and a huge shift. And I think it came at the most perfect time and it could have possibly came at.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are all valid points too. And I like that you brought up the Jimmy Ward meeting before the Rams game. It goes to show that there are multiple leaders on this roster. I would also point to the fact that D'Amico Ryans has every week impressed me and gotten better. I think that the lowest point was probably that Arizona game. Just credit to those guys because they had a really good game plan, and that was a learning experience for him. But, when you look at the first time the 49ers played Arizona, they limited Kyler Murray to, I think it was like 11 rush yards or something like that. And he was the MVP at that time. And that's something that the 49ers have struggled to do, which was contain mobile quarterbacks. So it's just, this season is just, it's hard to encapsulate it right now just because we're still going through it. But when you start to look back at certain things, because I was at the home opener as well too. And that all week, that's what we were talking about. Pass rush is going to get there. They'll take care of it. The 49ers are going to do enough. And here's what's funny about that. They still had the lead with 37 seconds left in that game. And as far as Ayuk goes, I wasn't a fan of the way they weren't using him, but obviously there's a method to Kyle's madness, and it's bearing itself out now. Brandon Ayuk has given him a ton of credit, and it's almost like if he's not pushing you in that way, if he's not hard on you, then he doesn't really care about you. And I didn't understand that early on because I just felt like, dude, it's you traded up to get this guy. He was such a baller last year with Nick Mullins. Now this offense is going to be better because it is with Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's like, man, get the guy involved. And I wasn't a fan of it, but that goes to show, again, Kyle knows what he's doing. And again, he's pushing all the right buttons. And whether or not it's come to fruition at the time we wanted, it's still at the time that it is now. And they're this close in this game right now. So, yeah, it's just this year when we look back on it, so many twists and turns, so many storylines, so many, like, 3-5, I don't think anybody could have foreseen this, even the most ardent, hardcore 49ers fan, I myself definitely didn't see this coming, but that's what makes this season so special, I think, right now is that, and it's got everybody so excited is because, I hate the term house money, or I don't hate it. I just dislike it a little because you're here now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not, oh, well, we made the NFC Championship. No, you're here now. Now it's not house money anymore. Go get it done, and you have 60 minutes of football in front of you with a chance to play in the biggest game again and get back. So get it done. Like the house money thing is like almost like, well, we had a good run. Yeah, you did, but there's still more work to be done. So I mean, just when we look back on this year, we're just not. It's the DVD, the 30 for 30, whatever it is. It's going to be a wild thing to watch, man, because it just twists and turns and just so many storylines. And look at where this team is now.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comparison on Twitter that like the 2019 versus this year. I think this year, the team at least was better than the 2019 just because of everything this team has been through. 2019 team had it easy. They were blowing teams out. They blew out everybody in the playoffs. Jimmy Garoppolo passed for 8 yards. This team has been through it. Special teams had to come up big. I don't know. This season though is probably one of my favorite seasons I've ever watched because I was down and out. I was like, okay, we're going to lose this season. Jimmy started all along. We have no first round pick. Trey Lance didn't play. Like, it was a wasted season. And now we're in the NFC Championship game. Credit to Kyle.
Yes.
So we'll go on to our next topic now. We're going to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. I was watching your Coast to Coast yesterday with Grant. I had a different topic.
Mm-hmm.
In there, I was like, okay, so there's no point in that. So I switched the topic. Is he due for a good game?
Yes.
I mean, this man has not been good the past 6 weeks. After the Titans game, he had like that one moment in the Rams game with like a minute 30, no timeouts left. He scored a touchdown, right? But he hasn't been good. Is he due for a good game?
I think he is. And look, this is what me and Grant talked about. And Grant was taking a little bit aback, right? Like, because he's like, oh, well, you're defending him. I'm just giving you objective facts, right? His numbers in that game would look drastically different if George Kittle brings that pass in It may not have been a touchdown. I see a lot of people saying it would have been a house call, maybe, but I know for a fact it would have been at least a 40, 50-yard game. That drastically swings his numbers. Brandon Ayuk had a drop. Jawan Jennings had a drop. Now, it was very cold at that game. The elements for him are worse than they are for Rodgers. Rodgers is used to playing there. And I would compare it to Mac Jones threw 3 passes in Buffalo, right? When it was like freezing and there was like wind everywhere, and they found a way to get it done. So the weather has to be a factor in it. But then when you really look at the numbers, Jimmy Garoppolo threw for more yards in the second half than Aaron Rodgers did. And I feel like nobody's talking about the fact that Aaron Rodgers played so poorly in this game. Everything is all about,
the special
Jimmy
teams.
only did this. Yeah, that. And, Jimmy only did this. Jimmy's only helping doing this. The thing is, this is the funny part about Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't remember a quarterback who can struggle for a certain amount of time, and then when you have to have it out of nowhere against all odds, he comes up.
He becomes Tom Brady.
Right. He's the guy who got them in the field goal range too. Like why are people not talking about that? Like, it's almost like you're using the first 3 quarters or whatever it is, the first 58 minutes, but then you forget at the end he had a chance to win the game, and he put them in field goal range with throws. And I get it. The 3rd and 9, the 3rd and 7 was a run. But as I pointed out on Grant's show, he was making it seem like Kyle doesn't trust him. I think Kyle got a look that he knew, and also
they came out in a pass set, and then Kyle called them out and switched it up and then gave it to Debo.
Yeah, and that's the play that they ran to Mostert for one of the touchdowns in the 2019 NFC Championship. Same exact plays, that late draw, because he knew that they were going to come right up and be rushing the passer. There was a hole right there for it, and you put it in your best playmaker's hands. Once Debo got that first down, it felt like the game was over at that point. It really felt like the game was over after that Jordan Willis block. That stadium went silent. With 4 minutes left, that felt like – I talked to people who were at the game, and I asked them, did it feel like the stadium just – like the air went out? And he said, absolutely. Like it was absolutely like that was the move, and it was done. Like at that point, the way their offense had been moving, you knew that they realized that they were going to have a tough time trying to put this one away. Now I'm speaking out about the Packers, but with Jimmy Garoppolo, man, he is due for a good game. I think he's going to have a good game this week. And again, people always ask me, well, what's a good game? What's a good game is 200 yards, a touchdown. If he gets 202 touchdowns with no turnovers,
no turnovers, yeah.
Handily.
A good game is no turnovers from Jimmy for me. No
Absolutely.
turnovers.
And to be fair, no quarterback can turn the ball over, right? And it's funny, the discourse around this game now is Matt Stafford has to have a clean game. Like, when he turns the ball over, they don't win. Imagine that. When quarterbacks, whoever they are, turn the ball over, it's hard to win games.
Who would have thought?
So why is this something – right, yeah. So why is this something that is just directly thrown at Jimmy Garoppolo? You know, like I never understand that portion of it. And sure, I'm just in the moment right now because this team is where it is. And the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't really put up these gaudy numbers speaks to how good this team is. I mean, special teams was the most maligned group, and they win this game against the Packers, basically, for them. It's always one other group picking up the other. If the defense is struggling for a little while, then the offense chips in. If the offense is struggling, then the defense chips in. If both are playing well or being, mid-level, then the special teams pops up. It's just a lot of people are forgetting that this is a team game. And sometimes I get lost in that as well, too. I was very upset after the Titans game, and I threw the blame largely at Jimmy Garoppolo's feet, just based on the fact that they had a chance to put that game away much earlier. There would have never been a chance for anything if they scored a touchdown. He doesn't throw the red zone interception. He misses a Kyle Juszczyk. It's just like, man, you really had a chance to put this team away with no weapons at all, but you let them hang around and they figured out a game plan and they got it done. Credit to them. But I think he is due for a good game. I think he's going to be fine this week. I think that just when you're ready to count him out, just when you're ready to say
it's the Jimmy cycle. It's the Jimmy cycle.
That's it. And I love that meme. I think it's hilarious. But just when you're ready to, throw dirt on the coffin, this is when he's going to perform. The shoulder's not bothering him anymore. That's off the injury report. The thumb is always going to be a thing, but it was a thing in week 18, and I'm sure it hurt worse than it does now. So this is the game. I think that he's going to be fine. 200 yards, a touchdown, no turnovers, and operating the offense efficiently. 49ers win.
All right, yeah, I think he's due for a good game as well. When I wrote this topic down, I was just thinking of the Jimmy cycle, and I was like, where are we at in the Jimmy cycle? And right now, everybody is putting him down. Mina Kimes, had that whole thing. everybody is putting this dude down right now and saying he's just there. I think now he's going to come in, everybody's like, he's not going to be a problem. He's not going to do anything in this game. It's going to be the run game and the defense. Oh, here we go. Jimmy Garoppolo throwing some nice little passes, getting it done. No turnovers. I think it's going to happen as well. If not, hopefully we can squeeze out a win and then he'll have his good game in the Super Bowl. But that was just a little fun
into existence
to talk about. That was just a fun. I just wanted to bring up the Jimmy cycle in that one.
That's good. I like that.
We're gonna get into another topic here. Talking about tomorrow. How can the 49ers lose this game?
If they don't get home rushing 4 and they lose the turnover battle. Like if Matt Stafford plays a clean game and you're not getting home with 4, then you have a problem. Matthew Stafford's numbers against the blitz are sparkling, like unbelievable. Understanding where it comes from, getting the ball out fast. But if you're able to get to him with 4 without sacrificing your back coverage, now that's really what got the 49ers back into that game too in week 18. And the turnover thing is huge. Like the 49ers cannot afford to turn the ball over and not get turnovers, right? A lot of the things that changed with this team was they went from getting no turnovers to getting turnovers constantly. Fred Warner with the fumble last week. Other games where they're getting interceptions. Ambry Thomas and Emmanuel Mosley had interceptions in the Rams game. So it's going to come down to being able to pressure Matthew Stafford with 4 constantly and getting turnovers and causing plays. Because if you allow him to play a clean game, if you allow him to sit there in that pocket, things are going to get rough. And I am not certain that this offense can keep up in a game where you're not having game-changing plays, momentum-swinging plays, right? Like where it's going to have to be tit for tat with the offense. I'm not certain that that's the way this team wants to go about this game, and I don't think it will, but that's the way the 49ers can lose this game.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't want to shoot out with Matthew Stafford with our offense because our offense isn't made for big plays. We'll have big plays here and there, but we're methodical drives, rush the football, passes, yak. So yeah, no, we definitely don't want to get into a shootout. I noticed how you didn't say contain Cooper Kupp because they're probably not going to contain Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is going to do his thing. He's going to get his 5 receptions, 80 yards, 90 yards, his touchdown probably. There's no way you can contain Cooper Kupp because he hasn't contained all season, So I like how you didn't have that in there because I don't think we're going to be able to stop him at all. But I think we can limit Matthew Stafford in a way to where he doesn't put as much points up on the board. The pass
and that's the thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It was the same thing. It's the same thing that we were saying, in the Packers game is you're not going to stop Devontae Adams. You're not going to stop Cooper Kupp. The point is limiting them, right? Like when Cooper Kupp makes a catch, tackle him. You can't allow him to get yards after the catch. You can't allow him to get big plays, anything like that. In the Week 18 game, unfortunately, they started with Dante Johnson on him with K'Wan Williams out. Wasn't really working out. And, Dante Johnson had a hell of a game in this Green Bay game. I think he's one of the unsung heroes. But every corner has struggled against Cooper Kupp, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Yeah. But yes, you absolutely have to make someone else beat you in this game. You have to make him throw the ball somewhere else, and you have to be able to limit him when he catches the ball, get him down. Don't allow big plays.
Because even Jimmy Ward struggled against Cooper Kupp a ton in that game, and Jimmy Ward is probably our best coverage man-on-man defensive back we have out there. So I don't think it's possible to really take Cooper Kupp out of the game. I don't think it's going to happen. But I think if we can limit his throws to him, I think if we can put more pressure on Stafford because Stafford, he tends to throw interceptions. He tends to get impulsive and just throw some passes that shouldn't be thrown. So hopefully we can get some of those Stafford passes out of him and win the game. I also think our offense needs to do a lot this game to win this game. The Rams are a very powerhouse offense. They know how to put points up on the board. So if our offense can go out there, take a lot of time off, just the normal 49ers game plan. Hand the football off, time of possession, points. Give it to Mitchell, give it to Debo, give your short passes to Ayuk, give your short passes to Kittle, take time off the clock, have the time of possession. And I think we win this game. We'll get into our game picks later, but I don't think it's impossible for the 49ers to win. A lot of people are counting this team out already. A lot of people they're like, the Rams are going to win this easily. And I'm like, did we forget what happened in week 18? They blew a 17-point lead. They almost blew 27-3 last week. Like everybody's praising how they won, but they could have lost that game if they don't hit it to keep Cooper Kupp. Because I think in overtime the Bucs win it no matter what. Even if Stafford gets the ball first, I think the Bucs win it no matter what if it goes into overtime. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. And nobody's giving the 49ers their credit. They beat the Cowboys. Oh, the 14-second play call. That was such a dumb play call. Even if Dak gets that off, there's no guarantee he'll score a touchdown in those 4 seconds. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're undisciplined. Yeah, they're undisciplined, but the 49ers put a pounding on them in that first half. They destroyed them in that first half. The Cowboys didn't have a chance. The Packer game. Oh, the special team sucked. Nobody's talking about how Aaron Rodgers did bad because how good that defense played. Aaron Rodgers looked confused back there. He was struggling back there because of how good the defense was. Nobody's giving this team credit, and it's really confusing, but I don't mind it because I feel like this team plays best when everybody's down on them and not
Yeah, and you
giving
can
them their
bet your
credit.
yeah, you can bet your ass that that's how they're looking at it right now. They love it. They love all that. They don't want the praise. And I love it too, right? Like, me, myself, I'm a competitive person. When you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna make every effort to make you look silly for telling me I can't do something. And the 49ers have had that chip on their shoulder the entire time. I think that's why they're all behind Jimmy Garoppolo the same way, right? Like everybody's just ready to say, well, he's the worst quarterback left of the four and this, and that. And that team just rallies around that. And again, it just speaks to like the close-knit group that they are. So yeah, and the national media, the discourse is more about Dallas blew the game, Green Bay special teams gaff, and it's never the 49ers did it, right? Like, and they did. Like, again, there's three facets of football, three phases, right, that you have to play. And the team who generally does the best in those three facets wins the game. And I don't understand why it's more that they lost as opposed to the 49ers win. So you can bet that the 49ers have been hearing all that. And they've clearly been hearing it because they've been responding to all of these national media people when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo, when it comes to counting them out and stuff. So they've heard it all. And I think they relish the challenge because I think a lot of people are just counting them out and they know what they're capable of because of how close they are.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely agree with that. And I like being the underdog 100%. I love being the
Mm-hmm.
underdog. We talked about how they can lose this game. Let's talk about how they win this game because
Mm-hmm.
the 49ers aren't the type of team to get blown out. Even if they are getting blown out, they will come back. The last time the team got blown out was against the Cardinals, but we haven't seen that team in a while. It's a different team now. So this team isn't going to get blown out. It's probably going to be a close game, or we possibly can blow them out, but I don't see that happening. How can they win this game? What needs to happen so they can come out and advance to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head with Week 18. They went down 17-0, and then that kind of alters your plan and everything. But to Kyle's credit, he never wavered on running the ball. And in fact, running the ball was what got them back in it when he started to throw the straight tosses back that looked like outside zone, that are inside zones, which was really the key to getting them back going. I don't foresee the 49ers going down 17-0 in this one. This is going to be a very much like tooth and nail fighting game, right? Like, but that plays to the 49ers strengths, right? If they're able to execute on offense, I don't think they're going to come out on offense as flat as they did in Week 18, right? And credit the Rams. They came out with a great script and the defense was struggling. D'Amico makes his adjustments and boom, they get right back in the game. But I think, again, after seeing how they won the first time, which was an absolute blowout, seeing the second time, which was, coming back from that, this game is going to have a good start for the 49ers on both sides of the ball. So this game is never going to get out of hand on the – like, I think you said it perfectly. The 49ers, in my eyes, there's two ways this game goes. The 49ers win this game in a close one or they blow them out. That's it. I don't really foresee the 49ers losing, right? But the 49ers have that in them to boat race the Rams in this game. They do. But I don't foresee that necessarily as much as I foresee a game where the game is close the entire time. The 49ers are able to run the ball. It plays to their strengths of chewing the clock, being methodical, third down, back-breaking third downs where Jimmy Garoppolo is executing. That's really where it's at. And I think that's what's lost in the stats too is, okay, he only threw for this many yards, but when you needed that clutch third down to keep a drive going, like, why is that not part of the discourse about how he played as well too, right? Like, so that's lost in there too. But if Jimmy Garoppolo is executing on third down, this offense is on schedule ahead of the sticks, and they're able to execute the way that they can and not shoot themselves in the foot, no penalties, no turnovers, I don't see how the 49ers can lose this game. It's not me being a homer. It's just the formula that they've built is just too great right now. Like you've seen it come to fruition, and you've seen it come to fruition in Dallas, in LA, in Green Bay. And it's just the way that they want to play football at this point. And again, if Jimmy Garoppolo can execute and give a little bit in the stats department for everybody, then I really don't see how the 49ers lose this game.
Yeah, no, I think there's one way they win this game, and it's the way they play football: physical. Be physical with the Rams. Their defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, was talking about how like we're gonna out physical the 49ers. No,
No,
you're
you're not.
not. You are not
Yeah.
going to out physical this team. The only team that was in the playoffs that could have matched this team's physicality was the Tennessee Titans, and they are gone now. No other team
Mhm.
in the playoffs can match their physicality. If the 49ers can come in, be physical, and punch the Rams in the mouth, I think we come away with this game. Um, yeah, I don't really see us losing this game either. If we do lose this game, I will be extremely, extremely sad. I have witnessed two Super Bowl losses in my life, and I have witnessed a lot of Seahawks NFC Championship losses in my life. I can't lose to a
Yeah.
division rival in the championship. I can't.
I say this all the time. The younger 49er fans are tough. You guys have seen some things, man. And that's why, like, the older 49er fans get mad. Well, I was around. No, no, no. I'm talking about when you start remembering things and you realize how many times the 49ers have ripped your heart out or had their heart ripped out. Like, you guys are tough. You guys deserve this run, like, more than the older 49er fan, right? Like, because I'm 37, right? I remember the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl. Like, I remember that. And I remember all that stuff after as well, too. But you guys don't remember that, right? Like, it was so long ago that we had to watch the Super Bowl video on a VHS. That's how long ago, right? Like, that's how long ago that was. So you guys have seen some stuff, man, like gotten on the doorstep, and, it hurts all of us. But I always feel like the younger 49er group fan base, man, you guys have had it rough. You guys are really tough, man. It's you've gone through it, and you're better for it, and that's what would make a Super Bowl win so much sweeter for you guys. And like, you guys are the ones that I'm thinking about more than anything. I mean, obviously, I'm thinking about the 49ers and their fans, but the younger fans, I think they need this one.
Yeah, I would love to see a win in this Super Bowl because I have witnessed two heartbreaks. I remember I was 12 years old watching the Niners and Ravens crying in the hallway after we lost that one. The Seahawks, every time we lost to them, it wasn't fun. And even the Chiefs one, we were 7 minutes away from winning, and we lose it. It's been tough, so I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah,
Um,
I was actually in Miami for that one. That one
oof,
was rough.
that
The
one was
the
tough.
Ravens one, that one hurt a little bit as well too. I mean, obviously it hurt a lot, but I mean, it's just the way that they battle back in that game. The Chiefs one is kind of like you were watching a car crash and you were kind of just watching it like slip away gradually, and it's almost like you have to sit there and you can kind of see it happening, right? Like, that
Yeah.
was the hard part, right? It's like it didn't happen out of nowhere like the Packers game. Like, that one, after they hit 3rd and 15, you start to get that pit in your stomach. Like, you're like, uh-oh, like, here it comes. And then gradually, little by little, it happens. So, yeah, I mean, the Miami one was tough. The Ravens one was tough. The cap interception against Seattle. And the Kyle Williams fumble.
Oof.
And all three of those years under Harbaugh, where they made the NFC Championship, I could easily make the argument that they would have won the Super Bowl all three of those years. They were the best team that was still left in the tournament, but that's just not how things go. And it's funny, the team that did beat the 49ers with the Kyle Williams fumble, the New York Giants, the 49ers are kind of resembling their run a little bit,
Everybody's
right?
comparing them. Yeah.
Right. Counting them out at every single turn, right? Like, oh, they can't beat this team. Well, they can't beat this team. And then they just keep finding a way, and combine that with a pass rush and combine that with some timely plays from the quarterback, and boom, you can end up being a Super Bowl champion. So yeah, I think it's kind of funny, the parallels between that Giants team and this 49ers team right now.
Yeah, I really hope we could do what they did. We're gonna move on to our next topic now. I mentioned earlier Kyle Juszczyk defending Jimmy, Debo defending Jimmy. A lot of players are coming out. Kyle defended Jimmy. Kyle saying Jimmy's not getting the credit that without Jimmy we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Uh, if we barring we even win this game, does Jimmy somehow make a return and play with his last contract? Because it seems like the players loved him. It seems everybody thought Kyle hated him, but Kyle's out here defending him now. And both the times he's been fully healthy and played in 15 games or more, this team has been in the NFC Championship. How do you move on for that? And does he return? I mean, to me, it's a possibility.
Mhm. Um, Here's the thing: is that's conventional thinking right there, right? Like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, how can you move on from this guy? who has you this close to a Super Bowl, right? But when you start to listen to Kyle Juszczyk, especially after that Rams game and Jimmy talk, this has a Last Dance vibe, right? Like where guys just realize if we're going to go out, then let's go out like this, right? And I think Jimmy Garoppolo spoke about it in a press conference where he said, I understand this is a business. They have spoken to me and told me everything that the plan was. So I think they have a really good understanding of it that, largely the reason that the 49ers moved up to 3 and also flirted with all those quarterback options was nothing more than health, I think, more than anything. It's just when he's not on the field, it hurts this team tremendously. So there is a possibility, right? Like the way that I would see them considering keeping Jimmy Garoppolo is if Sunday he goes out there, throws for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and leads his team back in the game, and then goes into the Super Bowl and outduels the guy that I think is going to be there, Patrick Mahomes, for like another 303 touchdowns and wins Super Bowl MVP. I think that's when you start to really have that discussion. Is that in the range of outcomes? For sure. Is it likely? I don't think so. But that's where the conversation would start if that's what happens. But for me, this just feels like a Last Dance type thing, right? Like everybody understands we obviously have this goal, but let's send Jimmy out as a winner, right? Like that type of thing. And then to how everybody's defending him, I say this over and over, and I think people don't understand the human element of football at times. And I feel like it's lost on them because they think it's all just stats and who's winning and things like that. But many of these players on this 49ers team have only tasted success with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. And they ride with him, man. And there's been times where, especially in 2019, when his team was down and they needed plays, Jimmy Garoppolo made those plays at the end of games to win games for them. And so it's hard for them to not feel like this at this point, right? Like there's people that are on this team that have been through multiple regimes. Remember Jim Tomsula, remember Chip Kelly.
Jimmy
and
Ward,
then
Kyle Johnson.
Right. Kyle Shanahan shows up. This guy shows up in 2017 and boom, you were that close to winning a Super Bowl. And now here you are again. So it's hard for those guys. Like I never understood people saying, well, they don't have to defend him. I'm like, they do though. Like they've only tasted success under him and they like him. They love him. Like this is why they keep talking about it. So it's so funny to me how people from the outside looking in always try to paint it as, well, they can't be satisfied with him because he's not putting up stats. I think you're overlooking the human element of this. And I think you're overlooking a guy and the bond that they have with this team and the bond that they have with him and all the things they've accomplished with him. So I think that's the part. But for him to come back, he would have to do something out of the ordinary, which I would love to have that discussion if that means the 49ers win the Super Bowl. Like, I don't care. Like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if he's the reason that this team wins the Super Bowl, then I could see that discussion being had.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see him coming back for one reason and one reason only, the money.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, no matter what happens, you have to get rid of him because of the money. 25, 26 million. You need that money to go to Debo. You need that money to go to Bosa, sign some free agents, So I think there's a really big possibility he can return because how can you move on from somebody who's gotten you to the Super Bowl this close 2 times? But the money wise, I don't think it works out. I think he has to go. And I don't necessarily hate Jimmy. I do bash him a lot. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's winning. The players don't care. The players could care less that Jimmy is not throwing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns every game. They don't care. They're walking out of there with a W. They're in the NFC Championship. They don't care about Jimmy's stats. They don't care about their own stats. They just care about winning. You know what I mean? I think people also forget that too. Because Debo even tweeted out, you guys want to keep bashing my boy Jimmy, but look at his win percentage. Like, all they care about is winning. Now, I think the second they lose a game, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get torn apart, probably.
Yeah. He's in a no-win situation with this.
Yeah, but as of right now, they're winning. I don't really see how they can keep Jimmy Garoppolo next year. But if I'm being honest, if you win the Super Bowl, I don't care what you do this offseason. Yep. I don't care what you do. Yep. Keep Jimmy, trade Jimmy, yep. Keep Jimmy, trade Lance. I don't care what you do. You win a Super Bowl, I'm happy. I am happy.
I'm glad that you're taking that stance because too many people are focused on what could happen instead of enjoying this ride. Like it's insane, man. A lot of people are just fixated on either one wanting to be right or just running the guy out of town. And it's like, man, you realize that discussion can be tabled as this team is 1 game away from playing in the Super Bowl, 2 wins away from winning it all. Like, can we just have this discussion another time right now at this point? It's
do it
it's
after,
funny to me.
Do it after.
Yeah, absolutely.
if I'm being honest, so you were talking earlier about house money and like win this game, you are where you're at now. Here's the thing. I knew we were going to beat the Cowboys, okay? I was like, we're beating this team. This team is not beating us. We're going to beat the Cowboys. The Packers game came on. I had us losing. I didn't think we had a chance in that
Oh
game,
wow.
right? I was like, we're probably
Mhm.
going to lose this game. We're not going to be able to contain Aaron Rodgers. He's in the cold. We're not, we beat the Packers. And then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to play the Packers or the Bucks, the Rams, right? I wanted to play the Bucks for one reason and one reason only. I was content with losing to the Bucks. If we lost
Okay,
to the Bucks,
but
I would have been like Tom Brady, the GOAT. It happens. It was a good game. We cannot lose to the Rams. I
no.
do not want to lose to the Rams. It would be awful. You have the storyline 6-0 against the Rams. You own the Rams. And then you might lose to them and they're gonna go to the Super Bowl and they're a division rival. Like this is a team like we cannot have
Yeah.
an L tomorrow.
Yeah.
Twitter is not gonna be fun either. It's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy tomorrow. Like this is a team like I was content with losing to the Bucks. I was like, we'll take our L. It was a good season. Who even thought we would have been this far? But now it's the Rams.
Mhm.
Now it's the Rams. Go out there and win, please.
Yeah.
Speaking of winning, let's get into our game picks for this week. All right.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if you really care to pick between the Chiefs and the Bengals, but it sounds like you're picking the Chiefs, right? I have the Chiefs.
Yeah, I got the
as
Chiefs.
well.
I got the Chiefs. They're rolling right now, man. And as long as Mahomes has a second on the clock, they've got a shot. So
Also,
yeah, I'm gonna roll with them.
Kansas City's pass rush. Chris
Right.
Jones, Frank
Amazing
Clark.
season. Amazing season for the Bengals, by the way. Like, I mean, they are ahead of schedule and they are going to be a lot of fun to watch. Shout out to Zach Taylor. But yeah, I think this is where it ends for them. Hope I'm wrong.
If anything, the Niners and the Chiefs had a very similar season this year. Started off really
Uh-huh.
slow. Everybody was down on them, winning streaks, and now they're in the NFC and AFC Championship. Crazy. Do you know who Tim the Tatman is?
No, I don't.
So he is a streamer, right? And he apparently is a curse. He curses teams. Like if he goes for that team, they lose every single time. He went for the Packers, and he said the Bills and the Bucks were going to win last week, right? They both lost. He said the Packers are going to win. The Packers lost. He said he was a Cowboys fan. He picked the 49ers and Chiefs to win this week. I am nervous now because it's a thing on Twitter where they're like, yeah, if this man goes for your team, you're going to lose 100%. And like everybody's like me betting on the Bengals and FanDuel now. Like I'm terrified. I hope we break that streak because we've broken a couple streaks. Like, they 45-0 at halftime. We fair
Yeah.
10-0 at halftime. So hopefully that's another streak we
I
can
love
break.
I love this sort of discussion, right, with fans, because there's so much gatekeeping with fans and superstitions and everything, right? And it's just, I think it's so silly for me. I mean, not that it's silly for you to believe in what you're believing. I'm talking about like the people who bash people with their whatever routine they have, right? Like if they have a lucky jersey or if they're doing things on certain days, if that works, fine. And the funny thing to me is I've seen fans tell other fans, well, you're way too confident. This is going to be your fault if they lose. No, it's not going to be your fault if they lose because you're not playing in the game. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever makes you happy. And if you believe in those superstitions and that makes it more fun for you, and that's what, like, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter. Realistically, this game is going to come down to the two teams on the field,
Yeah.
not anything that you did during the week or anything like that. But I understand that because I've been a fan in that way. In the 2012 run, I wore the same exact outfit every single game. I ate the same exact food every single game. I drank the same exact beer every single game. And guess what? It worked all the way, and it almost worked getting into the Super Bowl. So I just never understand that take where people are gatekeeping what people do in their superstitions. It's just, hey, man, you're a fan. You get to do whatever you want. That's the fun part of all this. So.
Yeah, I have shoes, I have an undershirt, and I have a jersey that I got for Christmas. I wore it week 18 for the Rams game. We won, and then I was like, okay, let's keep it. So I had the same jersey, the same undershirt, and the same shoes on. Wore it for the next 2 games, and we won. So I'm gonna wear the same shoes, the same undershirt, and the same jersey this Sunday. We'll see if the curse breaks. But let's get into our game picture.
It's gonna work.
I know you're very busy. You got to get out of here soon. You picked the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning. Let's talk about this Niners win or the Niners pick. I'll let you go first. Give me a score and your pick.
Yeah, I've got the 49ers winning this one 28-21. It's going to be a very back and forth game. Like it's going to come down to the end where the 49ers are going to have to make a stand or they're going to have to go down and score to win the game. But I don't foresee this game going in the fashion of the previous meeting. 17-0. If anybody's going to go up 17-0 in this game, it's going to be the 49ers. It won't be the Rams in this one. So I just have the 49ers doing what they do, playing physical football. And you kind of touched on it. And that's something that I was talking about right before that Rams game was, the Rams are talking about being physical. Well, that's how you know you're not physical, because you're trying to talk yourself into doing something. I think Joe Staley echoed those sentiments a little bit. It's almost like they're trying to psych themselves up to do something that's not in their DNA. And then also, when they get punched, they don't punch back. Sometimes things, it either erodes in a way where they lose the game, or it's a blowout, right? Like things can snowball very fast for the Rams. And I just think that that's kind of the way they're built in terms of like Sean McVay sometimes goes into a shell, right? At times. So it's really funny that all the pressure is on the Rams in this game to do something that they haven't done in the last 6 times that they played the 49ers, which is clear the psychological hump of getting beat, right? Because it wasn't just Jimmy Garoppolo. Nick Mullins went in there and beat them as well too. It's doing something that you haven't been able to do, is take a punch back, and then finish. And I don't know if they can do that, right? So they ran over the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I had been saying, were fraudulent this entire time. I'm not a fan of Cliff Kingsbury. I had the Rams winning that game. I had the Rams beating the Bucs, but you alluded to it, 27-3. And the game came down to that field goal at the end. That was an absolute dime by Matthew Stafford, by the way, against the blitz. Against the blitz, too. That's the thing, right?
In my opinion, I saw the defensive play call, and I was like, what are you doing? I thought that was a really dumb defensive play call, but
right, cover 0, like with just a man out there on the top, and just an absolute dime. But I've got the 49ers for 60 minutes imposing their will, doing what they do. If they play a clean game, then this game can really get out of hand. But I have the 49ers winning this one 28-21, and they'll be they'll have a home game for the Super Bowl as well, even if they are the away team.
Yeah, no, this is probably the second most confident game I'm in. I was really confident we'd beat the Cowboys. I'm probably more confident in this game, actually. I do have the Niners winning as well. I have them winning 30-20. I don't see how they lose this game. If they lose this game, it's because they shot themselves in the foot like the first 8 weeks. I don't think the Rams can beat the 49ers head on. I think the Niners have to shoot themselves in their foot to lose this game, because I think we simply own them. I think we're more physical. Our pass rush gets there. Aaron Donald doesn't do anything. And this Rams team gets flustered when they're getting beat. Ramsey was getting flustered when Debo kept running him over and trucking him. He didn't like that because nobody does that to Jalen Ramsey but Debo Samuel. Aaron Donald gets frustrated when anybody shuts him out of a game. If you get a good block on Aaron Donald, he'll put a chokehold on you. This team doesn't like to be out physicaled because they're not really physical in the first place. So once we get that in their head, like we're more physical than you, we'll run over you, they start to fall apart. We saw it in week 10. We saw it in week 10. Once we put what we did out there, we got the pressure there. We made Stafford throw some errant passes. In their head, they couldn't get over the hump that we were better than them. And I just feel like that's the thing with the Rams. And same thing with the Seahawks. We go into the Niners go into the Seahawks. We know the Seahawks have owned us for a decade, right? It's really hard to get over that. Even when you have a lead, we had a lead, 17-10, I think it was, the week 11 game or whatever. We couldn't keep that lead because this team, we can never count them out, And I think that's what I think it's gonna be the same thing here. I don't see how we lose this game, and I'm really hoping to win this another Super Bowl run with this team.
I think we're all gonna get our wish, and I'm glad that you brought up the whole, they get flustered, and it's just not how they're built. And if you need any more proof that this 49ers team is in their heads, Raheem Morris's statement, which was wrong about what George Kittle said. George Kittle wasn't saying put somebody in a body bag. It was about like physical, right? Like it's a body bag game, right? And he took it and he's like, well, we're going to put him in a body bag. Okay, so that you've been thinking about that quote the entire time. Sean McVay running into the end zone when it was 17-0.
That was ridiculous. Yeah. I saw that and I was like, you're a coach. What are you doing? You got to have more pride in your work.
Right, like he won the Lombardi. Like, so don't tell me that's not in your head. And then I'll point to this one. Week 18 was a hat and T-shirt game for the Rams. They won the West. And if you watch the press conferences and you look at that locker room, you would have thought they got eliminated, that they didn't have a game the next week. So all of those things, when you talk about the way the 49ers play, Kyle Shanahan knows Raheem Morris, knows Sean McVay, because he coached with Raheem Morris on 3 different staffs. Obviously, we know, McVay is a Shanahan protege. So all of those things line up. And again, if the 49ers just play clean, play their game, they're hard to beat. It's hard for them to lose against anyone, let alone this team, if they play their game.
Yeah, I've heard Packers fans say the Niners are the only team I don't want to see in the playoffs. I have seen Packers fans say that before the game happened, even after the game happened. They're like, we don't want to play this team. We did not want to play the Niners. This is a team nobody wants to play. And there is a reason for that. And that's why I don't understand why everybody's counting this out already. I really don't understand why everybody's counting this out already.
Good. I mean, let them do whatever they want. This team is very confident. They know what they can do, and they're going to show out tomorrow. So
I hope so. I'm going to be watching that game. I'll wake up early, probably watch the Chiefs and Bengals game as well. But thank you so much, Jason, for coming on and talking about the 49ers with me. This is the new series we have with the 49er where we talk all things 49ers. We'll probably get into a lot more stuff in the offseason. If we lose or if we win next week, we'll be talking about the Super Bowl. So thank you, Jason, very much. I really appreciate it. Make sure to follow all of his stuff down below and have fun at your 49ers event you're going to, Jason.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to talk football, man. Anytime, I try to be available for everybody. And this is just a fun time. So who doesn't want to talk more 49ers?
Yep, I definitely agree with that. Thank you so much once again, Jason. You have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, man. You too. Thank you.
All right. See ya. Peace.
All right.